What do you think is the best way to lose something simple? Just throw it away. If they made some random decision to start over or were wiped out by a natural disaster, some of them could have disappeared completely. Number 10. The myth of Atlantis. People have been trying to figure out whether Atlantis was real or not for centuries. The only problem is that there's no evidence of its existence. So scientists don't know what to make of it. Plato wrote about Atlantis in his works. Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, of course, no one has ever found any archaeological proof of its existence. But since no one has proven it didn't exist, people still debate the issue today. According to Plato's description, Atlantis was bigger than Libya and Egypt put together. It had gold mines, fields of precious stones, and enough resources to supply its army with everything it needed. But somehow this massive empire sank into the sea without a single person surviving. It wouldn't have been able to support itself. But this hasn't stopped people from looking. One popular theory claims that the island of Santorini is actually the lost Atlantis. Santorini is a small group of volcanic islands in the Aegean Sea. In 1928, a British journalist named Charles Berlitz came up with the idea that the two were connected. The problem with this theory is that there's absolutely zero evidence to back it up. For one thing, Santorini is nowhere near where Plato said Atlantis was supposed to be. Number 9. Bimini Road. A group of scuba divers were exploring the ocean floor off the coast of the Bahamas when they stumbled upon something bizarre. They found a strange road made of huge stones, while others looked more like they'd been eroded naturally by the waves. The road is known as the Bimini Road. It's almost exactly 5 miles long and it sits roughly 2 feet under the water. At first, people thought that the Bimini Road was the legendary lost city of Atlantis. Unfortunately, new research suggests that it's probably just a bunch of rocks that were eroded by wave action. This is the official explanation anyway, but people are skeptical. Between 1968 and 1970, many different expeditions tried to map the Bimini Road, but every attempt failed. But to this day, no one has ever been able to find the rest of it. No, 8. The Azores Islands. The Azores Islands are a cluster of 9 volcanic islands located in the Atlantic Ocean, about 900 kilometers from the coast of Portugal. These islands hold a lot of history, but also a lot of mystery. Between 1427 and 1434, Portuguese explorers discovered the islands one by one and claimed them for Portugal. Nobody even knows if there were people living on the islands at all. In 1989, researchers found some unusual pieces of rock in the Azores Islands. These turned out to be ancient tools, parts of spear points, and sharp cutting implements. The truth is, the islands could easily have been home to a long-lost civilization that no one knows about. They could have supported a population of early humans during the last ice age. No giant skeletons have ever been found, but maybe someday they will be. Number 7. Submerged structures off Cuba. In 2012, marine archaeologists working in the Caribbean discovered 3 mysterious structures sitting on the bottom of the ocean. The structures were spotted roughly 75 miles off the coast of Havana. They were captured using sonar technology. There are several other smaller pyramids nearby as well as a large, very clear pyramid shape. According to the Cuban researchers, the structures are too big and too geometric to have been formed naturally. They also seem too advanced for the indigenous Cubans who would have been living in the region around 1000 AD when the Spanish invaded. They destroyed most of the Mayan buildings. But why would they have built pyramids in the ocean? And why does the largest one look so similar to the Great Pyramid of Giza? Number 6. Yonaguni Monument. Back in 1918, Japanese divers discovered a collection of underwater ruins off the coast of Yonaguni Island. They found oddly shaped rocks, walls, pillars, and stairs that seemed to be man-made. To this day, scientists can't agree on whether the site is really a lost city or not. The Yonaguni Monument in the Pacific Ocean off Japan is a rocky formation on the ocean floor. It seems to be a gigantic pyramid with stairs carved into its sides. People have speculated that it's the lost city of Atlantis. The monument is roughly 125 feet tall. No one knows how old it is or who built it. Number 5. Caribbean pyramid-like shapes. Something strange has been found hiding on the floor of the Caribbean. In 2015, ocean researchers were scanning the ocean floor in the Caribbean when they stumbled upon several pyramid-like shapes. They were surprised to find that the pyramids seemed to have flat tops. But it wasn't treasure they found, rather a huge monolithic structure. After further investigation, they learned that the pyramid shapes were much older than anything pirates would have had a hand in. It appears as though the land once housed a complex civilization. Number 4. Genetic links in ancient tribes. In 2015, scientists began comparing the DNA of various ancient tribes to modern Native Americans. They wanted to learn more about the origins of Native Americans and compare the DNA to see how closely related the tribes were. What they found was astonishing. The Hopi tribe from Arizona had shared DNA with the Ainu people from Japan. The Ainu are an ethnic minority in Japan who have dark skin, curly hair, and an overall appearance that sets them apart from other Japanese. Researchers say there's no way this could be a coincidence. There must have been some kind of contact between the two groups thousands of years ago. These are questions scientists still haven't been able to answer. 3. Ancient maps showing ice-free Antarctica. The official story is that Antarctica was discovered in 1820 by a Russian naval officer named Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen. According to the history books, he and his crew were sailing along the southernmost tip of South America when they came across the frozen continent. But the story doesn't end there. There's also a rumor that goes back hundreds of years, a rumor that a lost civilization was living in Antarctica before it was covered in ice. But why would anyone want to live there? Antarctica is a freezing wasteland. Scientists believe that there were native people living in Antarctica until the ice covered the land. Then they were forced to move north. But who were these people? Where did they go and how did they disappear? What we do know is that there are old maps showing the continent of Antarctica without any ice. Piri Reis, an Ottoman admiral and cartographer, created one of these maps. His map shows a landmass that matches Antarctica, but without the ice cap. It doesn't show any people living on the continent either, but this raises even more questions. Number 2. Theories from marine archaeologists. Jose Antonio Alvarez, a marine archaeologist from Cuba, says that there was a great civilization that lived beneath the sea. He believes this because he's seen things himself. In 1998, he was diving off the northern coast of Cuba when he found something remarkable. While surveying the ocean floor, he saw a set of stairs coming down from the shore and disappearing into the blue water. He couldn't see where they led or how far they stretched. He tried to swim down to them, but they were too deep. Another time he was diving off the coast of Havana when he saw a structure that looked like a wall. The wall ran for 100 yards before dropping off into the murky depths. Jose believes these structures are part of the legendary city of Atlantis. He isn't the only one who thinks this. Number 1. Conclusion twist. Maybe there was an ancient civilization that existed 5,000 years ago and again 100 years ago, except we've conveniently forgotten about both of them. It's certainly possible. Most people assume that it would have to be a monumental event to change history. Maybe a meteor strike or a sudden ice age, but sometimes the smallest details can change history forever. Just think of the woman who discovered penicillin, or the guy who invented the rubber cement. Now imagine a world where those inventions never happened. We forget that history is made up of small steps forward, little leaps of progress. What if there was an ancient civilization that developed nuclear power or figured out how to split atoms? Perhaps this civilization existed and then vanished, but the memory of it is buried deep in our subconscious. Someday we may uncover the truth about these lost people, but until then, they will remain hidden beneath the waves. Thanks for watching. Do you think there was an ancient civilization that lived in the Atlantic Ocean? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.